Hey everybody! I don't know why it looks like I'm looking weird. Maybe I'll turn my chair a little bit. Anyway, it's a new day and my hair's all fly away. Look at this. I have a fire going in the fireplace and it's just sticking up all over. Oh well, that's how it goes. I decided that today's little talk is going to be, I'm trying to figure out what have I done wrong with my camera. Uh-oh, that's it. I got it wrong. I have it wrong. Let's see if I turn it upside down if it'll do better. Rotate my phone back. Okay, well. Something ain't right. Oh, well. We'll deal with it. It is what it is. The camera is in the wrong spot. So, maybe if I put the thing over here, it'll be better. Spread it around. There we go. Anyway, I wanted to talk a little bit about today, about, how to get our acts together. We keep thinking over and over and over again that this year's going to be different. Tomorrow's going to be different. Next week's going to be different. But if we don't make changes in the way we do things, if we don't make those changes, then we're going to have, the results are going to be, not going to be what we want. And we're going to still be sitting here thinking about, how do I get my act together? Well, getting your act together is that act is a, part of a bigger word, action. And so actions have to be taken in order to see something different. I've been reading a fun book, and it's probably not for everybody, but it was written by a liberal person and a conservative person, and they're talking about the differences on how we were raised as compared to how we've raised our children and our children have raised their children. And it's just a fun book, and it's called Old School, Living in the Sane Lane. And this is my second time to hear it. And it's really brought home the fact that the way we are has been ingrained in us from a long time. It's just plain and simple. We were brought up a certain way. And when we're brought up that way, it's hard for us to change. But recognizing that we need to change is half the battle. It's just half the battle. And if we know things aren't right in our homes, and that's where we feel it, that's where it's difficult for us. If we recognize right now that those things are, if things at home are uncomfortable and we can't settle down when we're home, then we have to make the changes that's necessary so we can live a peaceful life. Our home is our castle. And that home is important to protect us and to protect our sanity and to protect our children. But we don't want to hover over our children. As Tammy says, we want to give them wings. We want to teach them how to be adults. And that's why I posted at the very beginning was post what you wish you had learned at an earlier time. What is it that you have just recently learned that if you'd have learned a whole lot earlier, you would have been much better for it? Now, we can't go back in time, but maybe we can help the young people coming up that are suffering with the clutter and the chaos. I mean, just think about it. When we turned 18, the first thing that went through our minds is, I get to get out of here. We get to leave our parents' home. And we were so excited about getting out on our own. And we wanted our own place. And, we made lots of bad choices pretty much. But we still got our own place. But we made do with what we have. We made do with what we had every single day. And we went to junk stores, and we got in the habit of going to these junk stores, which is wonderful. We got into the habit of going to these junk stores, and those junk stores furnished our homes. I know when I first moved to North Carolina, I moved up here with my camping gear and my fishing gear and some winter clothes. And that's really all I had. If it hadn't been for some friends who brought me some stuff that was in storage, I probably wouldn't have even had any furniture. But luckily I had rented a place that was furnished. But you get in the habit of going to these junk stores and needing more and more and more. And we don't even really know who we are. I will never forget, I told this story yesterday. Excuse me, that was loud. I told this story yesterday. When we remodeled in 2000, remodeled our kitchen, we had a little one-butt kitchen. And I'd beat myself up. We'd been married almost 3 years, and at the end of November, we'll be married 21 years. And I am so blessed with my special Robert. He spoils me rotten. But I was so guilty. I felt so guilty because I couldn't keep house. That I beat myself up every day, pretty much, because I was a bad housekeeper, and he deserved to have a wife that could cook, and I could cook, but I didn't cook often, who could clean. I can really clean because I can hyperfocus, and that could be devoted to him. Well, I'm devoted to him, but I felt like our house had to be presentable at all the time. And it wasn't until 1999, in December of 1999, that I got my act together. And we had a little house. It was barely 1,000 square feet. And we had green shag carpet. I'll never forget it. But Robert built the house when he was a bachelor, and it was dark and closed in, even though he had a picture window in the front of the house, and he had a bay window in the back of the house, and that bay window is what the light is shining on me right now. We moved it into this bedroom. We had this little tiny house that was dark, and I needed light. So that year of 1999, I got my act together. And it was phenomenal for me because for the first time in my life, my house was staying clean. I had been kind to myself by, my voice is getting shaky because I think about the many years that I beat myself up because I wasn't good enough, that I wasn't worthy to have a remodeled home because I couldn't keep the little one we had clean. And we would go out to eat and we would draw up what we wanted on napkins and then I'd stick them in the pocket and forget about them because I wasn't worthy. You know, why wasn't I worthy to have a house that blessed us? You know, it was hard. It was so hard. And when you look back on why did I feel unworthy? Why was it? It goes back to the fact that women are the nurturers in our families. It's just who we are. It's in our DNA to be a mother. You know how it is when your first child's born and you automatically love that child and you know how to be a mother. Even if you don't know how, you know how to be a mother. So that nurturing part of us really doesn't do that for ourselves. We don't nurture ourselves. And in order to get our act together, it's really a series of acts. In order to get our acts together, we had to figure out what makes us tick, you know? And on that New Year's Day, I realized that beating myself up because I was not a good housekeeper was wrong. And so I made 2 New Year's resolutions that day. The first one was the second one was to be kind to me. But it was all through the process of getting organized that I realized that I was not kind to me. Now, how can I be kind to myself? Well, just recognizing that I'm my own worst enemy most of the time. My lack of get up and go, the lack of discipline, you know, all of these things play into why things don't get done. So I have to play games with myself, you know, not selves. I have to play games with myself. And that's how we came up with the 27 Fling Boogie and a hotspot fire drill and all these little things that make it fun. Now, there's nothing better than running through your house with a trash bag. And that was your assignment for the holiday mission this week, was to do a 27 Fling Boogie. That was on Monday. We're going to fling stuff to get ready for the holidays. Well, that flinging stuff, because when I looked at my house, the whole house, you know, we get overwhelmed when we look at the whole house. When I looked at the whole house, I couldn't do it. I couldn't do a whole list of things. So that's why I picked one habit. And that one habit was keeping my kitchen sink clean and shiny. Now, I needed to start with a shiny sink. And that took me 2 hours because we had hard water. And he'd been a bachelor for a lot of years. And crusty stuff on the sink and around the rim of the sink and on the faucets, and just I had to spend 2 hours and a chisel to get that sink clean. And it was like a brand new penny. And getting up the next morning just changed everything. I mean, changed everything, because all of a sudden I got up in the morning and Robert wasn't home, and I went in there to make coffee for myself that morning because I don't think he'd made it for me. And I was greeted with this empty sink, this beautiful, shiny sink. And I'm thinking, who did that? You know? And then keeping it shiny really changed everything, because I realized when I was trying to get my act together that keeping my sink clean and shiny was not something you do one time. It's It's practicing that habit. I know if you were in band in high school or you played the piano, you had to practice every day. Well, we have to practice keeping our sink clean and shiny. And we don't need to throw the baby out with the bathwater if we miss a day. We just need to jump back in and do it again. And that was a beautiful feeling to know that if I missed a day, I couldn't miss 2 days. 2 days was not good. But if I missed one day, I could jump back in. And that sink, to this day, stays clean and shiny. With all it takes is me wiping it out with my dishcloth, my dirty dishcloth. And my grandmother taught me that. Just wiping it out. You can put a little Windex on it if you want. You can do lots of different things, but just dry it so that the hard water doesn't make little spots on it. And it can be beautiful, and it brings you this wonderful feeling of hope. And that's what we need to get our act together. This feeling of, I can do this. I really can do this. It's not going to be hard for me to do this. And so, wow, that's how I started getting my act together. Somebody asked me last week, what when you were depressed and you went into treatment, did you immediately change? Oh, no, I didn't. Things were brought to my attention, and it was stuck in my head that getting up and get dressed was an important part of my day. But I didn't immediately say, well, I'm going to do that every day. It didn't happen. But when I started putting together my habits, it came back to me how important getting dressed to those lace-up shoes was to my overall well-being of feeling good about myself. And when you feel good about your outsides, you automatically start feeling good inside. It's like putting a smile on your face. If you smile on the outside, it tells your brain that you're happy, and it releases endorphins. Which came first, the chicken or the egg? Then, wow, you start feeling better. So just practice smiling around your house during the day. Your kids are going to love it. They're not going to know what's going on. Now, as we go through the years, and some of you have been with me for years. Somebody's already posted she's been with me from the beginning. I try not to look at the post too much. It's difficult for me to look at them and talk at the same time because I can't read and walk and talk at the same time. So I can't follow them. I guess if my sister's watching, she could put them on Slack and send them to me. I could get them on my little watch, and I could probably see them. But getting our act together was, for me, a series of habits that I had to practice. Just simple little habits. And I did one at a time, not 12. One at a time. And that one at a time changed my life. It really did change my life because I was able to build upon those habits. So like keeping my sink clean and shiny, that's the last thing I did before I went to bed, before I started my before bed routine. I would leave the kitchen and wipe out that sink so I know I would get up the next morning to this beautiful shiny sink. Now from that shiny sink, the countertops got cleared, the dishwasher got emptied because I needed a place to put the dirty dishes, and then before I knew it, the whole kitchen was shining. And my only habit, one habit, was keeping the sink clean and shiny. I didn't have to do 15 things. That wasn't required. But that sink being shiny, it was contagious to the rest of the kitchen. Now, yesterday I sent out an email, or it might have been this morning. I did it yesterday, so it went out this morning. Excuse me. about you might need to see some of the good stuff happening. Okay, my sister just sent me a thing to say hi to Alyssa. She's the one that's been with me from the beginning. I have a great niece named Alyssa. So when you get up in the morning and you see a shiny sink, it's encouragement. So you might need some major encouragement to keep going. And yesterday's message, or this morning's message, was about crisis cleaning. Now, what is crisis cleaning? We've done it. We've all done it. We've all got company coming over. Your cousin says she's in town and she wants to stop by for a visit. And you go, oh no, what am I going to do? And you just start cleaning like a mad person. Well, we have a systematic way to do it. Systematic way to do it. And you spend 15 minutes. Now, you got to set your timer. Spend 15 minutes in your kitchen. Just 15 minutes. Empty your dishwasher. Get the dishes going. Wipe down the counters. And before you know it, that kitchen's going to be, it may not be spotless, but it'll look pretty good. And if you want to make it smell good, just spray a little Windex around and it'll smell better. Or put some spices on to simmer. You smell like you're baking cookies. Then you spend 15 minutes in the living room, picking up and putting away. That's the main thing. Living rooms get messed up because you leave stuff laying out in it. And so if we'll pick up and put away things, our house will always look good. Might need dusting. But for the most part, it'll look clean. And then you spend 15 minutes in the bathroom. And in that 15 minutes, you're going to swish and swipe. You're going to put things away. You're going to get that bathroom looking neat and clean in case, if somebody comes to visit you, they've got to go to the bathroom. They always have to go to the bathroom. So you want that looking decent for company. Have fun with it. But here's the most important 15 minutes of the day. And that 15 minutes is resting. Now, if you're not dressed to lace up shoes, you should get dressed to lace up shoes before you start the crisis cleaning. Because, excuse me, I've had some phlegm this week. It's kind of weird. I guess it's ragweed. Trying to lose my voice. Anyway, where's my salt when I need it? Nope. I don't know what I did with it. Anyway. Where was I? Yes, I've slept since then. That kitchen sink gave me some encouragement. And you crisis cleaning your home can give you encouragement, because having a space that looks decent already is going to help you keep it that way. Because you haven't spent a whole lot of time getting ready. It's not like you had to spend 2 days getting ready for company to come. Because you did 15 minutes in each of the main rooms. Now, you may have to touch on your bedroom or the extra bedroom if they're spending the night with you. But you can, once you've rested for 15 minutes, you can start the whole thing over again. And it's going to help you, really and truly help you. I don't know why those things don't go away. Anyway, I probably need to go in and turn off notifications when they happen. But I don't like looking at myself too much. But I need to look at the camera so you don't think I'm looking way off here and not paying attention to you. So, hey, Deanne, I love you, girl. Anyway, that crisis cleaning can help you get a handle so that you feel better about the way the house looks. And that is the next step, because as you're not having to crisis clean all the time, it changes your attitude. you start looking for things to clean. And I know you don't believe me, but it really does happen. You start looking for things to clean, and it keeps looking better and better. So doing the crisis cleaning, you don't even need to get the family involved, because you can do this. You can pick up and put away as fast as anybody, because you knew how to do this when you were a kid, when your parents told you to go clean your bedroom. So you can do this if you will just jump in and not question it and not take all day. Because as Parkinson's law states, if we've got all day, we'll take all day. That's why setting a timer is good for us. It's another game we can play. Setting a timer, it helps us to, it's like beat the clock, but we don't have to race the clock. We just have to stay focused and do as much as we can do and not kill ourselves in the process. So getting our act together is all about feeling good about ourselves. I want you to have a wonderful holiday season, but putting off doing anything is not going to help us. And later on this week, I think next week, I'll show you how to tie my bows. I have to have a second person here, I believe, to be able to do that, because I can't do it. I got to have the big me, because I have to stand up and do it. And I don't have a way. I need Justin here to film me. You know, getting our acts together, we have lots of different acts. You know, it's not just one act. It's a lot of acts. And they all fit together like a puzzle to make us whole again. You know, with our thinking about, you know, how we feel unworthy for most things, and we beat ourselves up. And if we'll let go of that mentality and just do little things. I just got through with an essay about slowing down and listening. We all know people, and here I am talking nonstop, but I have this audience and I have to talk to you because we just can't sit here in silence. But I probably don't talk all day long until I get on the Facebook with you. We all know somebody who talks nonstop. You can't get a word in edgewise. We all know somebody like that. And I often wonder, what are they hiding that they can't stop talking? Because if you're talking, you can't listen. If you're talking, you can't read what's on the screen from your comments. If you're talking, you're not paying attention to the other person's body language. So it's a conversation. If you're talking to somebody, you have to talk. One person talks, then the other person talks, and you make eye contact, and you listen to one another, and you don't just sit there and think of what you're going to say next and try to remember what it is you wanted to say. It's all about hearing that person and slowing down to hear that person. But if we don't slow down during our day and take time to slow our brains down, and we can do that quite easily, and I would like to teach you how to do that right now. So those of you who are watching me on the screen, I want you to sit back quietly in a chair somewhere, and I want you to put your hands in your lap and just close your eyes. And I want you to practice taking deep, slow breaths. I got this new refurbished iWatch, and I've been having a lot of fun with it. It's a little tech tool that makes sure I'm getting up and moving. My fitness tracker does that too, but this one puts up little reminders on the screen that says, take some deep breaths. Well, we need reminders like that to stop and just breathe in and breathe out. Just slow our brains down. I know when I first learned to meditate, the practice was to pretend like when you close your eyes, you're looking at your forehead from the inside. And just like the little hearts going across the screen, we have this little ticker tape going across the screen. And that ticker tape is got words on it. But we want to slow those words down to where they're barely crawling across the screen. And when you do that, you're more able to hear what's going on. Just going back to when we were getting ready to remodel, I didn't know what I liked. We don't know who we are on the inside because we hadn't stopped to listen to what's going on inside of us except the screaming. And when we're screaming and in chaos, that's all we hear. And I want us to slow down so we can know who we are and what we need to do next, and to take the baby steps to clear the chaos. And one of those is just slowing down our brains, taking time out to read your Bible and to pray. You know, sometimes we need to pray, but do it in a way that we're listening to what the Holy Spirit's urging us to do. I mean, that's been what my goal was all this year. So just practice your breathing. You can open your eyes now and set aside a time to do it once a day for 5 minutes. Just start with 5 minutes. Just slow down so that you're not talking 90 miles an hour. And practice, quiet mouths. And you'll hear a lot of things. Every year I pick a word that is my focus word for the year. And this year it's been obedience. Obedience to, listen to what I'm being told to do. Not by other people, but by what's inside of me. And for me, it's the Holy Spirit that it's urging me. I've been posting my essays the day before and writing on what I'm being urged to write on. Those things keep me in touch with what somebody needs. And somebody just posted in our comments, this is what I needed today. I didn't know I was going to talk about this today, but I had a quiet time. And just before I come in here to talk to you, I spend a quiet few minutes trying to figure out what it is I'm supposed to do. And it really does help me. It really does help me to be in touch with you, to read your messages and to see what's happening in the, in our little world, because we're in our homes and they're our sanctuary. They are where we get things done. They're our protection. And if we don't feel comfortable in our own homes, then we need to think about why we don't feel comfortable in our own homes. Are we being abused in some form or fashion in our own homes? Are we the one being the abuser to ourselves because we beat ourselves up? But if you're being physically abused in any form or fashion in your own home, you need to get out. Make a plan and get out. And it's all about taking care of yourself. I know you think that's selfish, but if you don't take care of you, who will? We need to love ourselves. And the Bible teaches us that, to love your neighbor as yourself. Because if you don't love yourself, who will? Nobody loves a martyr. No, nobody loves, and I use the term martyr not in a saint type way, or somebody who martyred themselves for their religion, but in a way that I'm the only one that does anything around here. Nobody loves that. Nobody hears you when you say it, because they're just hearing blah, 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 blah. Stop that. Because you can do this. You can get your home in order. You can take care of you and take time for you and pace yourself so that you're not rushing around like a crazy person during this holiday season, because there's nothing worse than being a Christmas banshee. I'm telling you, I lived with one all growing up. 18 years, I lived with it. And it's not fun. It's her favorite time of year, and she made the rest of our lives crazy just because of wanting to be the best at Christmas. And it's not worth it. Let's simplify. Let's do little things that mean a lot instead of big shows of Christmas spirit. For me, a simple hors d'oeuvre dinner with Robert is all I need. I'm happy. We don't buy each other gifts. I've got something happening right here. Something in my eye. It's driving me nuts, y'all. Yes, I'm a princess. But taking care of you is one of the ways we get our acts together. Those acts together, one thing at a time, building upon one habit. I started telling you about the shiny sink. Well, that shiny sink ran into the second habit of decluttering every day. 27 Fling Boogie was born. Those things got my house in order, because when your house is a mess and you've got clutter everywhere, it's hard to do your routines. It really is hard to do your routines. So let's get the clutter out of the way so that we can fly through our house. It makes it fun for us. The next habit was getting dressed to lace up shoes. Well, if you need to get dressed, if you're telling yourself that you don't wear shoes in the house, well, get you a pair of shoes or clean up a pair of shoes. And I saw a Facebook video come across my screen last night that was about how you clean up white tennis shoes that are grungy. And it was with baking soda and water and a drop of dish soap. And you just scrub them with the toothbrush. And get those and put the shoelaces down in the baking soda. Bam, you got white shoes again. But you can buy a $5 pair of Cads. Yes, they still have them. I promise you, they still have them. And tie them to your feet, because there's nothing worse than losing your shoes in your own house. Yes, you know who you are. You kick them off your feet, and you can't find them, and they're under the desk or under the couch or under the bed, and you just have to put your shoes on and get dressed to lace up shoes. The fourth habit was making your bed every morning. It's just a little thing. It takes less than a minute. But yet we look at our rooms and we're beaten down by that room. And, every room in your house has a shiny sink. In your bedroom, it's your bed and maybe your nightstand. In your kitchen, it's your sink. In your bathroom, it's your countertop and your sink. In your living room, it's your main coffee table. If you can get these places clean, the room is going to look good. And all you did was make sure that was clear. And it takes no time at all, especially when you're addressing your hot spots in the morning and in the afternoon and then the evening. So that was the fourth. Fifth habit is moving a little bit every day. The more you move, the more you want to move. And that's what I've noticed with my little fitness tracker. It tells me how many times I've stood up and stood up for a whole minute. You know, that's a fun thing to do. It reminds me to get off my bottom and move a little bit more. Then June's habit, and I started this in January, but you can jump into this anytime. June's habit was drinking my water, making sure I got a cup of water every hour. For me, that helped me to stay energized. Then July is swish and swipe. There's nothing easier to make a house look clean than to swish and swipe your bathroom. It takes me longer to tell you how to do it than it does to do it. And that one act put together with these other acts becomes routines. August's habit was laundry, doing a load a day. Doing a load a day will help you to stay on top of your laundry all the time. You'll always have clean clothes, which means if you need to pack and leave for a trip, you can do it in no time at all because everything is, in fact, my little reminder just popped on the screen said, I need to charge this thing. I love these apps that tell us what to do. And you signed up for FlyLane, you want me to tell you what to do, so I can do that. So laundry is in August, doing a load a day. September is our before bed routine. This is the most important routine of your whole day because you get your sink shiny, you've laid out your clothes for tomorrow, you put things on your launch pad so that you can take with you the next day. Everything's good to go. And that before bed routine, you think about, you check your calendar, and if you're not using a calendar for the whole family to see, then shame on you because you're being asked 1,000,000 times a day, well, when do we do this? When all they got to do is go look at the calendar. And how else are you going to teach your children how to use a calendar if they don't see you using one? They don't see you in the phone doing anything. So get in the habit of posting things on your calendar. It's your family plan. It's what you're doing, your life. Then that's your before bed routine. October's habit is paper clutter. You know, the secret to getting rid of paper clutter is to have a trash can in every room. I have a trash can in every room. In fact, this room has 2 of them. One over by my vanity where I put on my makeup, and the one right here by my chair. Trash can in every room. In fact, I have 2 trash cans beside my chair. One is for paper that gets burned in the fireplace, and the other is for things that don't burn, that goes in the trash. And Robert takes it off on Thursday. So a trash can in every room will help you get rid of paper clutter. And go through your mail. We got Christmas coming up. Ask for a shredder. I noticed a commercial this morning on television, and I don't turn the television on much, but I turned it on for a few minutes because I got some breaking news on my phone. And there was a commercial that popped up for some security system about your private profiles. And if you sign up for it, you get a free shredder. I thought that's a great idea. A free shredder. How cool is that? And get a shredder and shred the papers as they come out of your mailbox. And they have to earn the right to come in your house. And then have a place to put your bills and put them in your office in a bag. This is my control journal office in a bag. But there's a place or pockets to put things. And it makes it handy because all you gotta do is grab and go. Look at that. It'll lay flat on your counter. You can take it with you to the soccer practice and pay bills and stuff as you're sitting there. I know a lot of us pay bills online now, but this is a handy little tool. It's what I used, something similar. Well, it was this. We re-engineered it for to hold today's stuff, phones and things. But getting rid of that paper clutter before it ever comes in the house, it's going to keep your house looking good. So all of these habits build upon one another. And then next month's habit is menu planning. And you can start the menu planning today. You don't have to wait till November. But you can start as you're cooking and planning menus for next month. Make 2. So if you're going to make a meatloaf, make 2 meatloaves. Then that way you can put it in the freezer and schedule it for sometime in December so you don't have to cook much. Just think about it. If you cook double what you're cooking for the next few weeks, you'll have 3 or 4 weeks of meals in the freezer and you won't have to cook hardly any during the holidays. And that makes it fun. And then check out Leanne Ely on my homepage on our website. And she's got the answer for your dinner problems, not knowing what to cook. It's called Dinner Answers. And she has a link for you to go to. And it's just a cool way. I went through it and do it, and I don't cook much, but when I do, I'm using something that's tried and true, and her recipes are used by a lot of people. And I like y'all's idea right now of sorting through stuff while you're listening to me. It's called multitasking. You can hear me and still go through some paper clutter. Now, I don't want you cooking and doing that all at the same time. But you can sort through paper and listen to me. And it makes, we used to do this when we did a radio show, our podcast. We would play music. And that music was, during the 3 minutes of that song, you were to go do the mission of the day. Our mission that somebody said was the thing to do when we had callers. So you can have some fun with these habits and you string them into routines. And it's going to help you. It's really going to help you get your acts together. Because we have, we're raised the way we were raised. And we can't help how we were raised. We just can't do that. We can't go back in time. But we can raise ourselves now. We can take simple little actions to make our life more comfortable. It's all about being kind to ourselves. That's all it is. It's all about being kind to us. And if we will do that, we will be kinder to others. And it'll help others if we'll just practice loving ourselves and not doing anything that we really don't want to do. Because in the end, you're miserable. The rest of the family's miserable. And I just want you to love yourself enough to say no. And we're coming up on this time when you're going to be asked a lot of times, can you do this? Can you do that? And you've got to practice saying that word, N-O. Do you hear me? It's okay to say no. You don't have to have an exclamation behind it. You just have to say, no, thank you. That's what we would do in the South, is just be kind and say, no, thank you. Can't do it right now. Just say no. It's important. It's important to all of us. Well, folks, we have getting our acts together. it didn't go the way I thought it would go, but it never does when I listen to the Holy Spirit. I have to give the Holy Spirit credit for this, because I had no clue what I was going to do with this until I sat down. And it's a good way to be. I sometimes call it flying by the seat of my pants. But for the most part, I'm being guided to help you. And I'm here to help you. That's why God put me here. You know, when Fly Lady first started, Robert said to me, "Is this Fly Lady persona going to take my Marla away from me?" And I tried to explain to him that it was one and the same. And he finally gets it now. You know, he finally gets that this is what I'm supposed to do. And somebody asked me the other day when I was going to retire, and I said, I'm not ever going to retire until God says it's time to come home. You know, I want you to have the peace that I have found. And when I say that in a message, I've usually got tears flowing down my face like I have right now. It is so precious. You've already done the hard part. You're watching this. You're watching this, and you know you need change. That's the hard part, is recognizing. What about the people that have no clue that they need help? What about the people that are too proud to ask for help? You know, I want to reach them somehow, some way. What about the young people coming up who don't have a clue? Their parents did everything for them, and now they're going out on their own. What about those people? I want to catch them before they start having babies, you know. I want to teach them. That's my goal, is to teach them before they start having these babies and be, you know, these perfectionists that have had it handed all to them. Baby one comes along, they do pretty good. Baby two comes along, not so good. And when the third one comes along, wow, the chaos is rampant. I want to nip it in the bud. And if I can catch them when they're young, or if you can train your children right now, they're going to rebel from you. But if they see you being this peaceful, peace-loving person in your home, they're going to want to know how that happened. And all you got to do is say, Fly Lady. Because from the very beginning of starting Fly Lady, my goal was to make me perpetual. I know that sounds weird, but I want to be there. And if you're on the internet, you're there forever. So YouTube videos, probably be there forever. And, you know, wait till YouTube gets to be 100 years old and they're sitting there watching me, trying to figure out what's going on. We can help people. We can pass this along to others. You know, we're starting our holiday missions. If you know somebody who has struggled with getting ready for Christmas, pass them along. Just because we started on Monday doesn't mean they're behind. Because we're doing kind of the same things every week, except it's just a little different mission. And the other missions get picked up in the next few days too. So go download your holiday control journal. I have it right here. It's in our control journal section in the carousel that's just below, just the second thing down on the homepage. Download it. Fill it out. Your life is going to be much better. You're going to start putting this stuff in your head. And you're going to be thinking about it. Because I'm thinking about what I'm giving everybody for Christmas this year. And as I stop talking and stop watching TV and stop looking at Facebook and Twitter, those things come to me. And I have a great idea, and I can't tell you because most of the people I would give it to are watching right now. So I can't even tell you what I'm going to do. But have fun. It's all about having fun. It's all about you having fun this Christmas instead of going through it in this blur, not remembering anything. I don't remember much about Christmases when Justin was growing up. Because it was one crazy matter. Just craziness all the time. And rush, and staying up all night putting together toys. And I don't want to go through that again. And we don't have to. We really don't have to anymore. Let's simplify. Let's come up with some ideas for some clutter-free gifts. I think we have a section in our holiday section on our website. The link is on the carousel. Let's give clutter-free gifts. You know, my favorite thing, I told somebody yesterday, my favorite present is a face wipe. I use it 2 times a day. These face wipes, I'm not allergic to them. They're my favorite thing, and that's all I ask for Christmas is these face wipes. Justin gives me fire starters, little sticks of wood that I can build my day fires with. And I'm happy. I got a fire going right now in the front room. I let it die down before I started our little talk. Day fires make me happy. You know, having a house that's warm. I mean, I have on my denim shirt today because I was cold. You know, knowing what you like, getting in touch with who you are, is part of loving yourself. You know, I didn't know what kind of kitchen I wanted. Somebody walked into our house one day and they said, well, your house looks nothing like I thought it would. And I'm trying to think, what do you think it was going to look like? You know? And she said, well, I thought you'd be early American / vintage, you know. And I'm not, my kitchen's not like that at all. It's cherry, it's sleek lines, smooth faces, and windows. I like the light. I like being able to see outside and see my birds and see my trees and the leaves, and you know, I like that stuff. But I had to sit down and figure it out, and I took my office in a bag. At the time, it was my original. I put a notebook in it, and I went and cut things out of magazines to figure out what I liked. And then I hit upon this one magazine that it was all I could see. I didn't like anything else. And it was, I did the same thing for a garden. You know, if you're going to redecorate your house, you can do the same thing for your living room and different things. You know, what your idea, what it is you like. We don't have decorators. I mean, we could, but we don't. But somebody one time came in my house and said, this house looks like you and Robert. And it really does. We only have things in our home that puts a smile on our face. And if it doesn't put a smile on your face, and we've been doing this for almost 20 years now, if it doesn't put our smile on our face, it goes away. We give it to somebody else. We give it a new meaning. If it had a bad feeling for us, we bless someone else with it. And that act of, here it is, act again. That act of giving it to somebody else changes it forever. And now we can love it again because we bless someone else with our abundance. Getting that stuff out of your home is going to make the holidays go by so fast. Because you're going to be enjoying them instead of dreading them. I don't want you to dread them. I want you to celebrate. They're holidays for a reason. We're celebrating. And we celebrate with our family. So my watch is saying I need to get up and move. Imagine that. Being told what to do by something on your wrist. It's Dick Tracy time, and those of you who are old school understand that. Well, y'all have a good week. I may be back on early part of next week to talk about some fun things, but, you know, we got lots to do, and let's have fun doing it, because that's how you're kind to yourself, when you have fun doing things. And it's joyful, and start listening to those messages you get inside of you. because those messages are really guiding you in the right direction. And if you'll do that, you're going to have a good week. You're going to feel peace in your home. And I might even go in there and start cooking something. Who knows? Robert will be shocked if he comes home and dinner's cooked. Anyway, I love you all. I'll see you next week. And, download your control journal. And we have a new coupon code, everybody. Everybody was fussing because our coupon code ended. It's pumpkin. PUMPKIN 15 all together, no spaces. Pumpkin 15, and you save 15% on anything you order from our fly shop. So go check it out. I found a cute little pumpkin picture on a tree stump. It was fun. Have some fun. We got lots of clutter-free gifts on our website. Everybody likes our purple rags. Everybody likes our rubber scrubbers. So go have some fun this week. Get some of your shopping done. If you know somebody that needs some purple rags or some way to mop, or I know you don't want to give stuff like that, but you're really going to make their life easier. You're going to make them happy. And this is an all-time favorite gift for some people I know. This is all they give. Calendars make great gifts. So get them ordered, and we will see you next week. Love y'all. Bye.